So herein we are the class 11 student are showing the different aspects of Chandrayaan 3. So this comes under the Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. Now this is the beginning where we are showing the aspects of chemistry. Ankan and Gautam is going to explain about it.
So here are the aspects of chemistry of Chandrayaan 3. So there are different materials which have been used in Chandrayaan 3. So the first material is Kevlar, which is used to give strength and durability to the structure of Chandrayaan 3. There is ablative materials which is used in Chandrayaan 3 for giving extraterrestrial support in the Chandrayaan 3. Carbon composite, it is used on the nose of Chandrayaan 3. It can resist heat up to 2300 degree Fahrenheit. Internal alloys are used on the exhaust. There are many metals and systems which have been exposed directly under the exhaust. So these alloys help to protect them. Titanium alloy is the main structural alloys of Chandrayaan 3. The whole Chandrayaan 3 is made of this alloy. Aluminium, lithium alloys are very light and durable, so these are used in making of tanks. Beryllium is used in the making of X-rays, windows, and many other scientific tools. Thermal insulators are used to make the spacecraft cool with heat. And quartz fiber is a high-grade material used on the solar panel to protect it from sun radiation. So he will explain fuel now.
So basically the entire Chandrayaan 3 fuel module consists of a cryogenic CE20 fuel, which is divided into 3 stages. The first stage is about a solid fuel. The second stage uses a liquid fuel, and the last stage uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen as their fuel. And the total capacity of fuel in Chandrayaan 3 is around 27,000 kgs. Now we'll explain about the models.
Now herein Shaurya is going to explain the different like Chandrayaan from Chandrayaan 1 to Chandrayaan 3, how ISRO has developed it, and also a comparison with other space agencies like NASA, how they are building their rockets and what kind of rockets they are using.
Greetings to all. Here we can see how Chandrayaan 1 to Chandrayaan 3, the evolution of ISRO has been done. In Chandrayaan 1, the PSLV launch vehicle was used, and in the second Chandrayaan mission, GSLV launch vehicle was used. In the recent Chandrayaan 3 mission, the launch vehicle used is LVM-3, also known as the Launch Vehicle Mark III. Here we see the comparison between the major launch vehicles that are used. The PSLV launch vehicle, also known for the major success and the global record of sending in the most amount of satellites into the Earth's orbit. The Artemis 1, amongst the most costliest launch vehicles in the world, costing around $16 billion for fueling the whole launch vehicle. We also talk about the GSLV launch vehicle used in the Chandrayaan 2 and a variant of it used in the Chandrayaan 3. We here see that how ISRO is more cost efficient than NASA. Thank you.
Now coming to the physics aspects of the Chandrayaan 3. So over to Mehfooza and Tanveer.
For ensuring the success of this mission, various physics aspects were used. First one being orbital mechanics, which enabled us to calculate and predict the path of a spaceship around the orbit. Next one being rocket propulsions, which enabled us to design the exterior of the rocket. Then landing and soft landing. The laws of motion were used in planning the descent of the spacecraft onto the moon's surface. Then remote sensing, communication system, where we use electromagnetic waves and transmission signals to enable the communication between Earth and Moon. Then lastly, the thermal control, which protects the spaceship from variations, extreme temperature variations in space. Over to the orbiter.
Now, unlike NASA and SpaceX, we cannot send a rocket straight from the Earth to the Moon. So what ISRO did to be cost efficient is that we use the Earth and the Moon's gravitational fields. So here's how it works. The spacecraft is sent to space, and there it revolves around the Earth, and at certain points in the orbit, they apply a bit of thrust. This allows the orbital radius to increase, and it reaches one point where it uses a lot of force to send a slingshot mechanism to the Moon's gravitational field. This whole process is called trans-lunar injection. Now, when the spacecraft is in the moon's gravitational field, it starts to decrease its speed, and then it tries to decrease the orbital radius, and there it keeps on revolving around the moon, and then it reaches the final orbit, and then it will slowly start its slow descent to the moon's surface.
So the students have made a prototype of this trajectory, which we can see in there. So if you can come, so you can see the trajectory has been made here, how it goes through the orbits, and then this slingshot mechanism, which actually ultimately lets the satellite reach the moon's orbit, and later on it will land there. Finally, we are going to the Chandrayaan 3, which is going to explain by our students.
So this is a model of LBM-3, and the spacecraft Chandrayaan 3 will be at the top part of the rocket, and it will get released to the moon surface. It will reach on the moon surface on 20th August, and yes, sir.
Greetings to all. This is the model of the launch vehicle used for launching the Chandrayaan 3. It uses three kinds of fuels and is using the S200 thrusters, which uses solid fuel made of hydrogen. The liquid module, which propels the rocket in the outer orbit of the Earth, uses liquid fuel, also known as the L110 core. It also uses C-25 cryogenic engine, which is situated there. It is used to send the satellite to the outer orbits of the Earth. The payload used in Chandrayaan 3 consists of the Vikram lander and the Pragyan rover, which is kept at the top of the launch vehicles. The launching of the trajectory of the whole launch vehicle comprises of separation and major thrust done by the S200 L110 and the cryogenic C-25 engine. The C-25 cryogenic engine uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen that propels it towards the dream of us reaching and soft landing on the lunar surface. Thank you.
So now over to the lunar surface, where we can see the Vikram lander, and the rest will be explained by Jogarka and Pari.
So this is the lunar surface, and this is the Vikram lander. The Vikram lander is named after Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. It has 4 landing thrusters and many sensors for a softer landing. It also has cameras for avoiding hazard. The rover is situated inside this lander. When it has detected that the area is safe to scale, the ramp would come out and it would extend, and hence allowing the rover to deploy onto the surface. This rover, known as a Pragyan rover, is used for detecting potential water resources and other geological composition of the lunar surface. However, this is not the exact replica of the Pragyan rover, and Jogarka would brief you more on that.
So after the landing of this, which is a soft landing, the rover is deployed out onto the surface of the moon. Right. So this we've used to explain the base of the rover. So we see that first of all, the body here of the rover, the entire rover runs on solar energy. Now the twist here, the catch here is that we are conducting the entire mission on the darkest area of the moon, the southern hemisphere. So there's no light there, there's very scarce sunlight there. So when the lander detaches from the propulsion module, the module is it's orbiting the moon, right? So as it orbits the moon, it sends the rays of the sun onto the rover, and then the rover runs on that solar energy. Now this base of the rover, it's incorporated with a bunch of different scientific tools, and one of them is the LIBS, which is the laser-induced spectrography, right? So the laser-induced spectrography is basically, it helps us to understand the composition of the lunar soil, what the soil of the moon is made of, what the moon itself is made of, and it helps us understand whether we can use any of it as resources, whether it's even habitable. So all of that, the best part about this is that no other country has done this so far. The southern hemisphere of the moon is one of the most hard to scale areas of the entire moon, and it has big mountains and deep craters, and no other country so far, no other space mission so far has been able to go there and scale that area. But we, India, our ISRO, plans on doing that. And in Chandrayaan 3, which will be I think the lander will land on the 23rd of August, if I'm not wrong. Then this itself is going to be a reality. Thank you.
So now over to our students who have had an interview with former director and distinguished scientist Dr. D.K. Das, who is from Assam.
Privilege to meet you all. What I would like to tell you is, like I was in ISRO for more than 40 years. Last year, earlier, I joined as an engineer SP, then I got promoted to SC, SD, SC, SF, G, H, OS, and lastly, distinguished scientist and become director, and I retired. After that, again 2 years as a diploma certified professor in Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. But when in my childhood, my school fee was 25 paisa, and I started writing. Not even using ball pen, not using fountain pen. I use quill pen. We call it Pachi Kalam. Okay, I did not see a train, broadcast train. I had to come all the way to Benares in those days. So, if I can do it, everybody can do it. Absolutely no problem, no, it is only psychological barrier. Some of the people from northeastern should come out and come, and all are doing well. Whomever I have met in ISRO, outside ISRO, all are doing well. And with that, I would only tell one thing, that you make our country proud, you make our country, like Ravi Thakur says, Chitta Jetha Bhaishunno, Utsa Jetha Shir, Gyan Jetha Mukta Setha Grihe Prachi. Where the mind is without fear and head is held high, where knowledge is free, where world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic wealth. Thank you. Thank you so much.